What's up, guys? So I picked up a 09 RX8. I'm just going to be going through it a bit and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. I'm going to see if I can get it on the road, see if it's worth doing a swap later on. Alright guys, so I'm just going over the car right now. Never up the jack stands, obviously. I'm gonna pull the exhaust off just because I wanted to take the cat out. You know, since it's a rotary engine, I'm actually gonna be pre-mixing the fuel. And you don't want to do that if you have cats. But so I pulled the cat pipe off, just a resonator down there. It's like, oh, someone already gutted it, which this can actually hurt performance because it's essentially like a expansion chamber type deal. So there's a pressure drop and then it increases pressure down there because it bottlenecks. So I'm actually just going to straight pipe that section. So I'm going to cut this out and then just straight pipe it. I'm gonna leave the resonator in there. Yeah, from the factory this is like a 2.5 inch exhaust, which is pretty standard size. So cut that out. And that's really all I'm going to do for the exhaust. I'm going to leave the stock muffler in the back. I just don't want this to be raspy at all. I want it to have a nice smooth sound to it. Since she's only a 1.3 liter little baby. Alright guys, so one of the problems I'm having with this car right now is the fuel level gauge is not working. I checked the wiring at the tank connectors, both sides they look fine. I pulled the plugs off. Actually I'm pulling all this interior out to clean it. So the backstory on this car, I'll go through that a little bit later, but you'll understand why I'm pulling all the interior out to clean it. Yeah, but anyways, I was looking over here. So I was looking over here, as I have the dash or the center console pulled out. So first of all, the stereo is not working. I found cut wires here. So this wire is actually going directly to the fuel level sensor on that side, and I believe it's probably tied into this guy too. Yeah, so it looks like it's probably a power, or this is probably the signal wire, but it's cut. It's either cut or it got chewed through by a mouse. I don't know. It looks like someone cut it, which I have no fucking idea why you'd cut that shit. And then this guy looks like it's going, I'm guessing that's an amp for stereo. I'm not positive. I haven't really researched it yet. But this purple and red wire is also cut. You can see it's going right over here. So I don't know if somehow, someone accidentally cut these or intentionally cut these. It doesn't really make any sense. But this is why the fuel level gauge is not working right. I mean, there's a chunk missing out of this. Like, it's like an inch too short. See, the other end's right there. So if I fix that, fuel level gauge should work now, hopefully. But we'll see. I mean, so far, this car is actually not. It's not in bad shape. Like, obviously cosmetically it looks like ass. The paint's all faded. And it needs some help. But as far as the bones go, pretty solid. I already got the exhaust done for the cat down there. Yeah, but I looked at the entire car underneath. It's never been in any accidents. Wheels are pretty scuffed up, but front bumper's a little messed up there. But it's really not in horrible shape. I was expecting a little worse, but yeah, it needs help cosmetically. I'm just gonna drive this thing. With the rotary engine for now. Eventually going to swap it Not really gonna go much into the details on the swap right now. I gotta source out some taillights. So this guy lived basically in the ghetto in Denver, and somebody smashed out his taillights. Looks like they stole the bulbs out. Why you'd steal $2 bulbs, don't know, but it's kind of upsetting because these headlights are super hard to find. The 09, you can find the 04 to 08s like all day long, but the 09 to 2011, they're hard to find because for some reason they changed. I mean, I'm almost to the point where I might just get some 04, 08 headlights and make them work. From what I've heard, it's just the mounting locations are different, but I'm not too sure. I mean, they're cheap for those headlights. You can get like a pair for like 120 bucks. These are like $800 for aftermarket ones, and you can't even really find OEM taillights. So I'm on the Facebook forums right now trying to find them, see if anyone has any, but if not, I might just try to convert to 04. But yeah, so like I said before, I'll kind of go over the reason why I'm deep cleaning this thing. It's had a rough life, but she runs good now. But so I'm gonna finish taking all the interior out, cleaning it, and pressure wash all the carpet, all that. All right, so I got the car pretty well cleaned up as far as the inside and whatnot. I'm not gonna do anything as far as the body yet. It's gonna be later on down the road. Still gotta find some taillights. They work, but obviously the lenses are gone because they got smashed out by someone, whoever that was. Yeah, so when I bought the car, this window was actually smashed out, and that's how they broke into it. And they stole the amp, kind of tore up some shit in there. So I replaced this window, found it on eBay for pretty cheap. Put some new tint on there. But this is actually an R3 RX8, which the R3 has better suspension. So it has like Bilstein struts and springs and all that. It's a little bit lower than your other RX8s. It has like side skirts after, different side skirts. Well, I don't think the other ones even have side skirts. It's got 19-inch wheels. These are forged wheels. They're a little rough, but as far as I can tell, none of them feel bent or anything. I do need to get them balanced, and then it used to have a splitter on the front. They had like a splitter on the front. You can kind of see that one's starting to get messed up, but he obviously, I don't know what the previous owner hit, but he smacked into something there, cracked the bumper. It needs a lot of body work, but yeah, so I got the interior basically as cleaned up as good as I can get it. Like I was saying before, I pulled all the carpet out and all the seats and all that, and just cleaned everything, pressure washed the carpet and stuff. The seats are missing, like those inserts over there. You can still buy these, I believe, but for now I don't really care. Got the back cleaned up pretty good. Yeah, so like I was saying, they stole the amp out, so I don't have a working stereo right now, which kind of sucks, but I need to figure out what deck I want to use. I'm going to replace the deck, and then I'll probably end up just using, the amp from the aftermarket stereo. Yeah, the interior came out okay. It's got some, rips in the carpet and stuff over there. But yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad overall. Let's start her up here. This badge is missing too. Don't know why. I didn't want to take that off, but whatever. Yeah, so it runs pretty good though overall. I've put almost 80 miles on it so far. Like I was saying, the only real thing is I just want to get the tires rebalanced. Looks like it's missing some weights and stuff, but yeah, this is my stereo for now until I get the stereo figured out there. Yeah, it runs good though. I'm not the biggest fan of rotary engines, but you know, for now it's okay. Got some pre-mixing the fuel right now, which I plan on doing the entire time with this engine at least. Yeah, so really all I had to do, so I had to replace the alternator water pump belt there, AC belt. The Rabbit actually ate. So I had it parked on the side of my house. We have a shit ton of rabbits out here. Well, we used to. I got rid of most of them. Yeah, they ate through one of the belts. You know, so when I went to start it, belt instantly flew off. First start, you know, like the ate one of the vacuum lines, chewed right through it. Yeah, so I replaced that. A new battery in there, because whoever vandalized the car, because it was parked in Denver at an apartment, kind of a sketcy area, but they stole the battery, so I need to get a battery bracket still, but you know, it works fine for now. Yeah, no, this engine runs actually really well. The R3 model actually has 3 oil squirters instead of 2. And so what those are doing is they're spraying oil inside the rotor housings. And these older engines, like the models before these, only had 2. They only had 2 squirters. You know, and basically they would spray towards the outside, you know, the rotors. Well, the middle is what would wear, you know, because the spray pattern was going this way and it wasn't, you know, getting a nice mist. And so they actually added 3 per rotor. And so these engines actually are supposed to last a while. This one has 127,000 miles on it. You know, and like I was saying, I probably really don't need to pre-mix the fuel, but I'm going to anyways. You know, I've seen a lot of people do LS swaps on these, you know, which you can definitely, once you get all the shit out of here. It's a lot of work, kind of, but, you know, the room is definitely there for the swap. I was thinking about it, you know, doing a 2J swap, but I kind of want to go with something a little different with this car. You know, that'll be later on down the road. Doc's got a little rattle there. Yeah, we might just go for a little spin. So this is the first Mazda I've ever owned. And definitely the first Rotary I've ever owned. I was saying, I'm not the biggest fan of, you know, rotary engines, but it's not slow, but it's definitely slower than what I'm used to in a car, I guess. You know, but for now it it drives good. Like the car overall drives great. You know, like it feels like super nimble, and it handles really well actually. You know, and it feels like, you know, like the balance of the vehicle overall is actually pretty good. You know, and they're super easy to slide around. But you know, they like high revving. Grip's pretty good. You know, not the fastest thing in the world, but not too bad. This one has a 6-speed manual transmission. Backfire there. No, it's not the fastest, but you know, this car with the swap would be actually super fun, I think, at least. Fuel light just turned on. Gotta get gas. But yeah, no, I mean, overall the car in itself actually drives really nice. It's not bad at all. It's a lot better than what I was expecting. But you know, like I was saying, I'm not a fan of rotaries. You know, sure, if you boost them, you know, they can make, you know, some decent power, but I like pistons way better, for sure. You know, with the rotary, it's really hard to get, you know, you're not going to make any low end torque, you know, so your power band is way up and is way high, you know, like you're, you know, shifting gears above like 5,000 RPM is where you're trying to keep it, really, because you're not making too much power down low. But you know, it's not horrible. Like I was saying, so eventually though, you know, I'm gonna swap something into it. I have it kind of planned out, but I'm gonna wait until, you know, I get the engine and stuff, and then I'll kind of share that info. I got it for super cheap. It had a few things wrong with it. He just didn't want to deal with it, and so I went down and I looked at the car, and I was able to get him down the price. So you know, it was kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, basically he wanted like $1,200 for it. And so the car was actually in Denver. So the day I got there, and obviously he, you know, like, so the car was parked out back, and I don't think he ever really checked the status of the car. He just kind of ignored it. But you know, so I showed up with my trailer, and when I was about to get there, he went down there to check out the car, you know, make sure it would start and stuff. The homeless guy was in the car, and I have no idea how long the guy was in there for. Probably, you know, a few days at least. Yeah, like the car got vandalized. Like back window was smashed out, so that's why I had to pull all the interior out and clean it up. You know, like I said before, I'm not Not a big Mazda fan. I'm not like like, oh, like I only buy Toyotas or blah blah. No, like I buy a lot of different cars. Um, the reason I like Toyotas a lot is just because they, the way they built the car makes sense, and they're super easy to get power out of, and they last forever. And honestly, one of the reasons why the performance is probably so shitty, also, just in my opinion, I'm at 5,000 feet altitude, so that definitely does hurt naturally aspirated engines. But even at sea level, I don't see that. I don't see the rotary engines being that great. They're really not. So I drove the car for about solid 2 weeks. I'll drive it every now and then, but right now it's not something I would like to drive every day. So I've just been driving my Jeep again. But yeah, so basically, if you can find one of these cars for cheap, I mean, under $1,500 that runs, for sure, I would say buy it. It's worth it. I would not be buying it if it's over that price amount. So I'm just being honest. There's a lot better cars out there, and unless you plan on doing a swap, which in these cars is very labor intensive, I would stay away. It's just not worth it in my opinion. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for watching. I'll be doing more videos on that car. For now, I got a bunch of other stuff I gotta get done. The car is going to be kind of put on the back burner. It is a car that I do plan on, doing a little build on it. I think it's going to be a fun car when it's done. Just right now, it's really not my style of a car.